YouTube, what's going on? It's been a little bit. Haven't done a video since before the Colts game, I believe. I've actually been on vacation, visiting my friend Nakia, who I want to give a shout out to because some of you might not know, she's actually the one that got me this flag that you see behind me that I'll be using in the majority of my videos. And she also got me this Dexter Lawrence jersey for Christmas. So, Nakia, shout out to you. I appreciate it. Me and Nakia also went to a Giants game, and that happened to be my first Giants home game that I've ever been to. So, dream came true. And lo and behold, I thought we were going to get stomped out, and I was prepared for it. I was just, happy to be there. But we ended up freaking winning, which is wild. And Drew Lock, the Colts, it's crazy because we were talking about, I was saying, I could actually see us beating the Colts, but after a while, I was like, nah, we're not going to beat the Colts. Nah, this team's horrible. We're not going to beat anybody. We're definitely going to get the first round pick. But no, the Colts are truly that bad of a team and truly that bad of an organization to let the New York Giants score 45 points with Drew Lock at quarterback. You can't make this up. Now, I know a lot of fans, at least on the internet, that I know of, were very, pissed off about it. Let's just be honest. Most of us just want this team to lose out, get the first round pick, and get the quarterback, and move on. But we ended up winning. That knocked us down from the first pick to the fourth pick, and then this loss against the Eagles put us back at the third pick. Still a decent position, but there is a scenario where we don't get one of the top two quarterbacks, being that the number one pick has gone to the Titans, the number two pick has gone to the Browns, and then us at 3. So there is a scenario where both Shador and Cam Ward are both gone at 1 and 2. To me, that's fine because that leaves us with Travis Hunter. I say we draft Travis Hunter, draft best player available, because that's what this team needs is superstars and studs. Travis Hunter, without a doubt, will be a stud in the NFL, at least what I believe. So I say we draft him there, unless we decide to draft down. Either way, the tank was quote-unquote ruined for a lot of people, but for me, I had fun. In that stadium, I heard people cheering. I heard the majority of people there cheering when we were scoring, cheering when the team was actually looking like an NFL team. I know some people were saying they booed at halftime, but that was probably mostly the Colts fans booing because their team was losing against the Giants. There were a lot of Colts fans there. Our team is bad, so a lot of people at that stadium were Colts fans. That's why you heard boos. But no, the people at that stadium were cheering because they want to see our team win. And they would have loved, and they did love, to see us win that first home game. Me personally, I understand the importance of getting the guy you need, getting the quarterback, especially in our situation. But I cannot say I didn't have fun at that game. That was a beautiful moment. I'll never forget that for the rest of my life. As bad as this team was, in my first experience, I saw my team absolutely ball out. So let's try and catch up here. So yeah, we won against the Colts, lost against the Eagles. We're now at the third pick, season over. Now where do we go? Well, the first question on everyone's mind was, what's going to happen with Joe Schoen and Brian Daboll? Are we firing them or are we keeping them? Most of the videos on my channel throughout this year have been leaning towards firing Brian Daboll and keeping Joe Schoen. And I kind of see why a lot of people would disagree, because that'll basically be repeating what we've done before, where we split up GMs and head coaches and just, try and add a piece back in, things not working out, end up either firing the coach or firing the GM and just kind of doing things, separately, never really getting that true cohesion. So I understand why that, maybe wasn't something that John Mara was willing to do, being that it's never worked the last, half decade plus of it. So I understand, as we'll see in a second, with his, why he decided what he decided. Let's go to it real quick. I want you to see it before I say it. Although I'm sure most of you have already heard but I had to make a video on this. So here it is, straight from the horse's mouth. John Mara issued a statement this morning, and it reads, "Now that our season is over, we felt it necessary to make this statement. Joe Schoen and Brian Daboll will continue in their respective roles with the organization. As disappointing as the results of this season have been, Steve, Tish, and I remain confident in the process that Joe and Brian have implemented and their vision for our team. We look forward to the future and achieving the results we all desire." So there you have it. That is John Mara's statement on exactly where this franchise is going. It made sense for him to go ahead and, get it out, go out in front, and let everyone know exactly what he's thinking, because based on the performance that this team has been showing, there certainly are a lot of questions, or there were a lot of questions on whether or not so-and-so would be fired. Are they keeping both, getting rid of both, firing one, keeping the other? And he just flat out said, we're keeping both. And like I said, it makes sense. Why split it up? Let's just keep both or fire both. And I guess they're going to keep both for now. But we also have a press conference from John Mara where he goes a little bit more into detail and also answers some questions. And I believe this is the first time we've actually seen John Mara speak. He only usually speaks once a year at the end. So this will be the first time we hear John Mara speak on this channel. And I've been very critical of the man. So I think it's fair if we let him speak his piece and see exactly where his franchise is headed. So without further ado, the press conference of Giants owner and president, John Mara.
Statement that we issued this morning. I met with Joe Schoen and Brian Daboll Friday afternoon for several hours, after which had a conversation with Steve Tish, and we spoke some more over the weekend, and just came to the decision that staying with both of them is the best course of action for us right now. I think in Brian's case, he was the coach of the year 2 years ago. That didn't disappear all of a sudden. I still believe he can do that again. And in Joe's case, I thought we had an outstanding draft class this year. I thought we had a really good free agency period, and I really like the staff that he's put together and built. And I think that they're the right two guys to lead us going forward. I understand, believe me, that that's not going to be the most popular decision in Giant land, but we believe it's the right decision for us going forward. So with that, I thought I'd come out and face the music and listen to your questions.
John.
So I gotta say, I like that from John Mara. So like I said, he went out there, he didn't hide behind any BS or any backbiting or any of that stuff that another NY team likes to do. Went out and faced the music, made a clear, concise statement in a clear, concise direction. Something we really haven't had in a while with the New York Giants. So maybe this pledge of patience that we really haven't seen from Mara, maybe that's signs of growth as an owner of a team. It could go bad, but I will say this, no matter what any of us think about whether we should keep them or not keep them, contrary to what I have been saying for most of my videos, I can kind of see why this makes more sense. This team is bad. This team has gotten worse throughout the first 3 seasons. You can make arguments to fire either one of these guys. I was on team fire Daboll. A lot of people were on team fire Schoen. And then there were some people that were like team fire both, or team keep both. Like I had said earlier, we've done a lot of splitting. So John Mara's thinking, let's do something different here. Let's do what I said mid-season. Let's exercise patience, something that my father used to do. And let's just keep both. It would make no sense, as bad as we've been, to fire one and not fire the other. Why? Because both have had a big reason. Both have had something to do with why this team was 3-14 this season, and why this team has gotten worse from that fateful 2022 season. Brian Daboll, Coach of the Year, his first year, and since then has basically been bozo. Joe Schoen, his first 2 seasons, 2 very mid to bad drafts. And then this season, with arguably his best draft, that's better than both his last drafts combined times a million. This draft was great. So I was always on Team Daboll because Daboll got worse, Schoen got better. But really, Schoen, those first 2 years, not to mention the Daniel Jones contract, not to mention letting Saquon and Xavier McKinney go for nothing, all that has to be factored in to the whole totality. So you can make arguments on firing either one of them. You can make arguments on firing both. You can also make arguments on keeping both. I think the correct decision, which I have to applaud John Mara because I've been tough on this dude, but he said it make no sense to fire one and keep the other. We either keep both or fire both. And he decided to keep them. So I feel pretty good with the decision to either keep both or fire both. I feel good with it. Now, if it backfires, you'll have nothing holding you back from cleaning house completely next year. I don't see these guys making it 2 years unless they show some improvement. So they're definitely on the hot seat. No doubt about it. John Mara didn't have to go out and say it. Everyone knows Joe Schoen and Brian Daboll are on the hot seat, and this next year is for their jobs. Unfortunately, that might make them desperate, but you know what? They got to do something. No doubt about it. So, bravo to John Mara. This is probably the best I've seen him as an owner after all these tough times. Making a clear, concise decision with a clear, concise direction. For the better or for the worse. We don't have to guess. We don't have to speculate. It's right there. Thank you, John Mara.
And what is your message to Giants fans who are very frustrated right now?
Nobody's more frustrated and upset than I am. I appreciate the fact that they have come in here with us. I get your frustrations. I feel your pain. But I still believe this is the right decision for us going forward.
I know you said, John, that Brian's Coach of the Year, great draft class, but the other day, guys won 3 games. So how does that all connect?
I'm aware of how many games we've won, and obviously the results are not even close to what we want them to be, and they're going to have to get better if we're going to move on to year 4.
John.
They're going to have to get better if we're going to move on past year 4. Hey.
John, after the season last year, you always say, I need to see progress, I need to see the arrow pointing up, I need to see improvement. What signs are there with a 3-win team that any of that has taken place?
I mean, certainly the signs were not based on a record. However, in Joe's case, I think the draft class that we had was really productive. I think all 6 of those guys are going to help us a great deal. I thought the free agency brought in, including Brian Burns, were really a big plus. And I think the staff that he's assembled around him and the process that we go through now, the information that we have in making personnel decisions is better than I've ever seen it before. And in Brian Daboll's case, listen, I'm at practice all the time. I go to the team meetings. I watch the players. I watch how they react. I still think he's the right guy to lead us. If I'm sitting here a year from now, you're asking me these questions, I'll take the heat. But at the end of the day, we've got to make a decision, and we've made one.
John,
is this really a 2?
Okay. In a year now, he's going to take that heat. All right. All right, John Mara. I'm going to have a nice video cooked up.
2-year commitment to them, because I think back to when you had Daniel Jones and you said we've done everything to screw him up, firing the coach after a rookie quarterback. If you're going to draft a rookie quarterback and then change the head coach and GM after that, is this really a 2-year commitment to them?
I understand the question, but I'm not going to put any kind of time limit on it. But I certainly understand where you're going with that.
Like I said, he didn't have to say it explicitly, but listen, listen. If those guys decide to draft the quarterback, and they reach. No one, listen. Let's just keep going. I want to see what
you do need a quarterback. So how important is that decision going to be to keeping them here and seeing what they can do?
That's obviously the number one issue for us going into this offseason is to find our quarterback of the future, whether that be via the draft or acquiring a veteran is going to be up to them to decide ultimately.
John,
Hey, listen, I put you two in charge of things. I let you two cook. You've cooked us up a 3-win season. So listen, we know we need a quarterback. The world knows we need a quarterback. The aliens on planet Nebulon know we need a quarterback. So listen, it's on you two. What you gonna do? You gonna get one in free agency? You gonna reach for one in this draft? Hey, listen, you Brian Daboll, you the so-called quarterback guru. You were supposed to come in and fix Daniel Jones. We thought you did in 2022, but then it got worse. So that's on you, brother. You have to find someone, and you have to do what you were advertised to do, to develop him, to build him up, and you have a shot. You guys are still here. You have a shot. I don't give a darn about this quarterback class in this draft. I don't give a darn. Tom Brady was in the 5th round or the 6th round. Brock Purdy was Mr. Irrelevant. There have been plenty of quarterbacks to come out beyond the 1st round that became something because they had good coaching, a good culture, and you built them up. So if you do what you say you could do, Brian Daboll, you have all the chance you have to build this team and to build the quarterback up. Or hire someone that can do it. Joe Schoen, that's on you. Hire someone that can do it. It's your team. You did these decisions. I said I have a hard time seeing Saquon on the team, especially the Eagles. You said they wouldn't get him, but they got him. So listen, Shane, this is your team. Build this team like you did in this last draft. You drafted so well, draft well again. Find the quarterback. It's on you two.
Talked about the process being good, the coach having it in there, the free agency being good, their process, all this stuff. How do you justify how did you get to 3-14 then?
Because we stunk this year. Okay, the results on the field were not what we
Hey, okay, Mary, you're winning me over a little bit.
wanted them to be. There were a number of factors that went into that.
I ran that back.
The process, all being good, the coach, having it in there. You talked about, the process being good, the coach, having it in there, the free agency being good, their process, all this stuff. How do you justify, how did you get to 3-14 then?
Because we stunk this year. Okay, the results on the field were not what we wanted them to be. There were a number of factors that went into that. A lot of that has already been discussed with the coach and with Joe, and will continue to be discussed. And but I liked what I heard from them on Friday afternoon. I like what their plan is going forward, and we're going to stay with it.
What did they tell you?
People have trouble separating the two.
I understand that. Believe me, I understand that. It's a bottom line business. You're judged on what your record is, and our record is pretty lousy right now. And I get that, and I take responsibility for that. But again, when you make these changes, and God knows we've made them in the past and been impatient in the past, and when you do that, you feel like you take one step forward and 2 steps back. And I just didn't want to fall into that cycle again. I wanted to give people a chance to build this thing the right way and to get us to where we need to be.
Why do you believe you're doing it the right way?
Hey, you can't. Hey. Now, I would disagree with keeping Daboll for sure. I was definitely for getting rid of him, and if Shane had to go, Shane had to go too. I was cool with that, but he said, gotta give him a shot. I haven't given people enough of a chance. I mean, he's never let people stay this long together. This is year 4, guys. Throughout some of the worst football we see. in one of the worst seasons, the 100th season. I can't imagine what it took for John Mara to not fire these guys into the nearest planet. But he says he's gonna give them a shot.
One at a time.
Why do you believe you're building it the right way when it's gone from 9-7-1, 6-11, 3-14?
I certainly can't justify it based on the records, but again, based on my observation of how they work together, of how the players respond to them, and how Joe is going about building the roster going forward, it's my instinct and my strong belief that that we are going.
And you could say, well, how good has your instinct been before? That's a great point. Like I said, even if this goes terrible, it's the right decision. You keep both or you fire both, because my goodness, it makes sense.
That we are going to go in the right direction. It's hard for me to say we're going in the right direction right now because we've been going backwards. And nobody feels that any more than I do. Okay, I hate having to go through this process. I hate having to answer these questions. But at the end of the day, you got to take a calm, rational look at things. And we did that, and this is the decision that we came up with.
What do they share with you Friday that gives you the confidence?
I'm not going to go into all the details.
But fans are going to want to hear something.
I understand that. And obviously the quarterback is the big issue, and maybe he makes some other changes in the way he operates going forward. I've talked to him about, do you really believe that it's in our best interest for you to continue calling the plays? I said, I'm not going to demand that you.
No. No. He needs to give it up. My opinion. We'll see.
Do one thing or the other, but are better letting somebody else call the plays, and that's a discussion that we're going to continue to have. There are issues like that we have to have some further discussion about. But at the end of the day, he's got to make the decision on whether he does that, on whether he wants to make replacements in the staff. That's got to be his decision at the end of the day.
John,
What
did
are
these
some of
come
the
back?
other
Did these guys come back on a hot seat?
I'll come back to you in a second.
Did these guys come back on a hot seat now?
You guys are going to have him number one on the hot seat going forward. So no matter how I answer that question,
In your mind?
we're going to have to see. I'm going to have to be in a better mood this time next year than I am right now.
That's all you have to see. That's all you have to say. Listen, Merritt doesn't have to say it. We know they're on the hot seat. There's no question they're on the hot seat. They just went 3-14. After their third season, they're on the hot seat. These guys are gone. If we don't get any better, these guys might not make it through the season. I thought someone, if not both, were fired after the Buccaneers game. Coming off a bye week after an embarrassing loss to what was on paper before that game, the worst team in the league in the Panthers, who are now one of the upcoming teams. Funny how it all started with them beating us. But coming off a Panthers loss and the worst offensive performance I've seen from Daniel Jones and this team in a long time, to come off that bye week, to get blown out, blitzkrieged, and just battered by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I thought they were gone. After that game, the fact that they stuck around, that's when I started thinking, okay, maybe these guys are staying. And I was right. Listen, they won't make it past. If something like that happens again, those guys are gone. They're on the hottest seats in the league. I don't care what anyone says. And they know it. We all know it. We'll see how patient John Mara is next season.
John, was the money remaining?
I'm sorry. Go ahead. You were next.
Beyond quarterback and play calling, what are some of those other issues that you see need to be dealt with?
I mean, quite frankly, I didn't think our defense played very well this year at all.
No, Shane Bone has to go. I'm done with Shane Bone. Unless he wants to be patient with him too, whatever. Because the defense did look good at times in the game, but there were some gaffes. Even in games where the offense was good, the defense was bad. We never saw that with Wink, at least that I can remember. Most of the time, when I think of Wink's defense, the defense was absolutely carrying us, even more so than they did this season. Shane Bone, I was not a fan of Shane Bone. If he left, I wouldn't care at all. Frankly, I think he needs to go. Absolutely terrible, horrible. Even with the injuries, just terrible defense.
I know that when you have an offense that performs like that, you're putting more pressure on your defense, but we need to make improvements there. I'm tired of watching teams go up and down the field. on us. So I think that has to be addressed.
This is the New York Giants. We were known for defense throughout our history. Whatever the hell this isn't the Giants. And this cannot stand. Even if our offense is mid, our defense has to be far better for this team, for these guys to keep their job. It's just true. So they definitely have to look at the defensive coordinator position.
I think, we need some more depth in the offensive line.
Yeah.
But number
Absolutely.
one thing certainly is the quarterback.
John, what
John,
gives you
how
confidence
long-
this roster is better than it was 3 years ago when these two took over this team?
I'm not sure I am all that confident that it's that much better. I think, though, with the draft class that we just had, again, it's very unusual. You have 6 draftees, all of whom you think are going to help us going forward. I thought that was a huge step. And the free agents that we picked up between, Runyon and bringing Brian Burns in here, I think those are really going to help us going forward. I think once you solve the quarterback issue, I think a lot of these other things will improve as well.
I guess when a fan hears that, though, that you're not confident the roster is better 3 years after they've been in charge. I mean,
How can I say that it's better if we win 3 games? We need to win more games for us to be able to prove that point. But there's just a better feeling in the building now that we've got the right pieces in place. We have a lot of holes to fill, and that's what this offseason is going to be about.
How long will it take to improve the product, John?
It better not take too long, Bruce, because I've just about run out of patience.
John.
Hey, man. Hey, listen. Oh, my goodness. I can't believe I'm saying this. I might be a John Mara fan. Holy crap. Oh, man. I don't know why it's so funny just hearing such truthful words from my owner. Hey, you know what? John Mara might be winning me over. I don't know. Hey, listen, he might be winning me over. I like how he's being real. He's not holding nothing back. He's not slandering either one of those guys, but he's letting you know we stink. And there's no excuse. Hey, you know what, John Mara? Okay, man. All right, bro.
That'd be a good soundbite for you tonight. Huh?
Is the money remaining on their contracts a factor? There was a report
Absolutely
that you
not.
had a problem with.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. That's never been a factor in any coaching decision that we've ever made here.
John, you talking about
I'm rich. Don't question our money. I'm rich, bro.
when the quarterback position is? You had the number 1 pick 2 weeks ago, and then you win the Colts game. And then it seemed like you didn't go all out yesterday. Like, why not have just tanked if you knew they were coming back?
If I had thought that we were tanking either one of those games, I would have fired everybody.
Thank you, CC. All these people that wanted us to tank, man. And there's sneaky ways to do it. But you can't get one over this dude. John Mara, he might be old school. I know a lot of people are thinking that's stupid. You need to tank, get your quarterback, and move on. These old school dudes don't think like that, man. If you happen to get the guy, okay. But you can't just tank for everything. It's not always going to work like that. As bad as we were, there's always going to be a team that plays worse on any given Sunday, and that was the Indianapolis Colts. I mean, we started Drew Lock. We had practice squad people all over the field, man. Yeah, we had some neighbors out there, but we had some people we've never seen before on the defense. Joe Flacco was looking like Baltimore Ravens Joe Flacco out there. Playoff Joe Flacco in 2012. He was throwing bombs on us. Alec Pierce. Jonathan Taylor was running wild. You couldn't make it any easier for these guys to have beaten us the game before last, the Colts. But of course those guys aren't going to purposely tank because they would have been fired. John Mara said it himself.
We are never going to do that in this organization as long as I'm standing on this side of the grass.
John, you said that. We didn't get to talk to you after the Plains. How much did that?
You see that guy behind him with that face? Oh, you should. That's so stupid. Just tank. Get your quarterback. Yeah, okay. Look, I understand. I get it. As a fan, you might not want these guys to win when we're a few games away. No future in sight. Yes, let's lose so we can get the best pick. But that's not how people like John Mara think. Matter of fact, more importantly, that's not how coaches and that's not how players think. That might be a general manager / owner thing. But the fact that the owner himself doesn't want to do it means no one's doing it. That's just facts, guys.
That bother you and
Listen, I didn't need planes flying over me to tell me how upset the fans are. I hear from them every day. So that really did not have much of an effect. I get how upset they are. I try to respond to them. Nobody was more upset than I am about how we performed in recent years. And, I have to stand up here and take the heat for that.
The big failure of this regime was the Daniel Jones contract. I think the question is, how much of a hand did ownership have in that deal? Are you absolving them of that mistake?
No. Listen, we made a decision at the end of the 22 season based on how Daniel had played that we were going to sign him to that contract. I approved that, and we live with the results.
John, when you say you believe in Joe and Dave's after speaking with them on Friday, after watching them, but you also do not want a starting over process. You've been through this process enough. Is it more belief in them than the pain of having to start over, or is it not wanting to start over?
I think it's a combination of things. It's a belief in them, number one, but number two, I think when you start over, you really set yourselves back. And when you have a belief in the two individuals that are leading the organization, you have to have the patience to stay with it. And again, if I'm standing here a year from now and we're having the same conversation, I'll take the heat for it. But I still think we still believe that it's the right decision going forward.
Well, we heard it from the horse's mouth, ladies and gentlemen. Doesn't get any clearer than that. Wow, I did not come into this video expecting to gain a shred of respect from John Mara, the person I've been lambasting the majority of my videos, but here we are. Wow. I just like that he was truthful, and I like that he let us know. I mean, yeah, he could be lying about some stuff, sure. I mean, the guy has lots of money. He can lie whenever he wants, and we'll just have whatever. But assuming that he was being truthful there, I like what he was saying. He was being real. Seemed like he was being very honest. He was letting us know, the fan base and the rest of the staff, everyone in Giants land, know that we stink. I'm not happy with this crap. I don't know how much longer I could take. And all that to me points to, if we don't see any sort of progress next season, you guys are gone. And we're going to start over in 2025, 2026. So Joe Schoen and Brian Daboll effectively have one more season, barring any progress or any convincing, John Mara that they are making progress, barring any of that, they're going to be gone next year. So for those of you who want them gone, unfortunately, I have to wait a year. But hey, again, I like the fact that they're making a solid one direction decision. They're letting everyone know you're coming back. But I gotta see something. You guys have to do your jobs. Do what I hired you to do. Daboll, develop the quarterback. Schoen, build the holes. We cannot go this next season with a horrible offensive line again. We saw progress, but the fact that when AT goes down, the whole offense goes down is a problem. We need to shore up the swing tackle position. We need to have some line depth. Enough with this Azudu crap. Enough with this Evan Neal crap. All right? They're not just backups. They just literally can't play in the NFL. Neal more so than Azudu. Neal is, I don't know what you do with that. I don't know. He's playing like a third string lineman. Worse. Because I've seen third string linemen come out and play better than Neal. We can't do this anymore. The experiment is over. At the very least, the downside of keeping them, if they feel that pressure, which they should feel, they may reach for a quarterback. But at the very least, they won't be wasting their time with projects anymore. If these projects if they haven't been able to tap into their potential or anything of the sort, they're going to put them on the wayside. All right? So no more snaps with Hyatt. If Hyatt's never going to get the freaking ball ever, it's enough. Get him out. If Neal's never going to pass block correctly, get him out. That's enough. Now they're going to go with their best foot forward and put the best players on the field at all times. So it's on Schoen to have another great draft, and it's on Daboll to develop a freaking quarterback and or bring a veteran in and have a good system with them. We have to see some results. There's no question. I will say, though, just because Brian Daboll and Schoen are here, which I guess is obvious, just because those two are back doesn't mean anyone else is safe. We could see a change at defensive coordinator, could see a change at another at other, position group coaches. We can see changes there too. So changes aren't done yet. But establishing the hierarchy from the beginning, obviously great move by John Mara to go ahead, come out, let that be known. So now we know what direction we're going. So now the dominoes will start to fall on who's going to be here next season and who's going to be leaving after this season. More changes will be to come. I will be here to talk about those and tell them, get them out there to the rest of Giants land. This may be a long video. If you're still watching at this point, you're the best. I appreciate you. Like and subscribe if you like what I've been doing so far. I'll be back with something else sometime soon. Still not the most consistent YouTuber. I'm not going to lie and say that's a plan I'm going to make. But when I can make a video, when it's in my heart, I'll definitely get on here and do it like I did today. But I'm sure we're going to have more news, so stay tuned to my next video. And until then, you guys have a great night. Let me know in the comments below how you feel about Joe Schoen, Brian Daboll coming back. Anything you want to talk about this, even if you just want to say the Giants suck, whatever. Just comment down below. Blow off some steam. I'm here for it. We're here for it. Till then, Giants fans, God bless you. Have a great night.